Hello Alpha 40 fans, welcome to a quick sample match. I'm going to use my League Alpha 40 deck that I ran in July. It was a Black Vise Time Twister deck that used Demonic Tutor as the draw spell. They had recently upgraded Demonic Tutor and Regrowth to the draw group, so we could only use one of those. Or Brain Geyser, Howling Mine, or Jam Day Tome. So we're going to go with Demonic Tutor this month, see how that works. Try to stay on the aggressive side of things to get Black Vise out early. We're going to match it up against a very budget mono blue Merfolk deck. This is very easy to build for a couple $100. Run 6 copies of Merfolk with a Pearl Trident, 6 copies of Psychic Venom, some Spell Blasts, some Unsummons, some Power Sinks, 3 Twiddles, a Soul Net, some Prodigal Sorcerers, and just basic islands, no dual lands. So this deck is very budget, similar to some of the entry-level Alpha 40 decks you might see in the format. They upgraded the mulligan rules as well, so now if you need, instead of having 0 or 7 lands, you can mulligan with 1 or 6 lands. We'll roll to go first. Merfolk gets 6, Alpha 40 gets also 6, they get 10 and 11. So Merfolk is going to go first. We'll draw 7, they'll have the advantage because they get to be on the play. Alpha 40 will draw 7. We'll check real quick to see if we need a mulligan. We have multiple lands, multiple spells, so we won't mulligan there. Multiple lands, multiple spells, not so bad, so we also will not mulligan there. All right, let's rock. Draw a card. I'm going to play an island into a Merfolk, I believe. Yep, Merfolk of Pearl Trident is turn 1. Pass with 6, untap, draw. Draw a card, Dark Ritual, which I can use to cast Basalt Monolith or Soul Ring. Let's drop a Swamp here, turn 1. We're going to play a Dark Ritual to put 3 mana in the mana pool. Let us just go ahead and drop Basalt Monolith so we don't take any kind of mana burn. We're going to pass with 5 here, untap, draw. It's an island. Let's play the island. We can play Psychic Venom or Merfolk with Pearl Trident. Let's attack for 1. Go to 14. Let's tap 2. We'll put a Psychic Venom on the swamp here and pass the turn. Untap, draw for turn. I drew a Power Sink. I can play a land. Let's go ahead and play this Tundra. Let's tap Tundra for colorless, and we'll play a Soul Ring, so now we could have a ton of colorless mana. We could disenchant something, we could mana short them, or possibly Power Sink, but we're out of blue mana. So untap, draw. It's another island. We'll play an island. We can do a bunch of stuff here. Let's move to combat. Swing for 1, go to 18. Tap a blue, we'll play another Merfolk, we'll tap 2 more blue, we'll play a Psychic Venom. Let's put it on the swamp actually. I like to double these up because with the Twiddle in this deck, you can just tap it and it'll do 4 damage next time. That's all I'm gonna do. I'll pass with 3 cards. Untap, draw. I drew a Stasis. Let's play a Scrub Land. Probably mana short, maybe mana short then Stasis, something like that. Don't have a lot of blue mana over here, so Stasis is not the best card. I will untap after I pass. Draw. I'll play another island, so I got 4 islands rocking. I can unsummon something, and I can Spell Blast for the cost of the spell. I will move to combat, swing for 2, put Alpha 40 at 16, then I'll pass the turn. Draw, I drew an island. I'll play an island. I'm gonna pass the turn. Untap, on upkeep, I'm gonna tap island and 2 colorless. I'm gonna mana short the Merfolk player. So tap his lands, then he draws. So he won't be able to play this Psychic Venom, that's okay. Move to combat, I'll swing for 2, put the Alpha 40 at 14, pass the turn, I'll untap. Draw for turn. I drew, oh, Black Vise. That's perfect. I needed that earlier. That is also good timing because they're tapped out. Cannot spell blast this Black Vise, so I will tap. Let's do the Scrubland. Tap the Scrubland for colorless. I'll cast a Black Vise for this opponent. They're under the Vise though. They only have 4 cards, so it doesn't help. Stasis could possibly work, but then I would only not be able to play it any more turns. So I think I'm just gonna set up the Stasis here. I'll pass the turn. I'll untap. I'll let this Merfolk player untap everything. Draw for turn. It's an island. I'll play an island. I will also tap 2 blue. I'll put another Psychic Venom on this swamp, setting up a monster play there. I'll tap 2 Merfolks for combat. I'll put the Alpha 40 at 12. They're under the Vise. I really need a Time Twister. I'll untap, draw. Chaos Orb is not bad. Let's tap Soul Ring for Chaos Orb. I'll play Chaos Orb and save that, and then I'll pass the turn. I'll untap. I'll draw. I drew another island. I'll play an island. I could unsummon something, or I could spell blast something. Move to combat, swing for 2, no blocks. I'll go to 10, I'll untap, draw. Plains, I'll play the Plains. So now I could possibly Stasis, but I would like to tap them out somehow. So maybe I'll try to power sync something on their next turn. I'll untap that as well. Definitely can power sync the next spell they play. Let's do that. All right, untap, draw, perfect. Let's go to combat, no blocks. This will be at 8. 20, still no damage to the Merfolk player. I'm gonna try to Psychic Venom the swamp here. However, I'm gonna power sync for sure. I'll tap a blue, and I need 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll tap a blue, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll do that. I'll power sync for 5, tapping out my opponent, countering the Psychic Venom. And then Spell Blast wouldn't work because I don't have 5 mana. So that's all I can do. I'll pass it over to the Alpha 40 player. Demonic Tutor, perfect. I could Demonic Tutor for Time Twister, which I think I'm gonna do that now. So yeah, not tapping that swamp because that'll do 6 damage, but I'll tap Scrubland and a Plains right now. I'm gonna cast Scrubland for black. I'm gonna cast Demonic Tutor. Merfolk is tapped out, so I can't. I'm gonna actually tutor for the Time Twister. There it is. I'll put that in my hand. I'm gonna shuffle. I could also play the Time Twister. That might be the play while they're, yeah, I'm gonna get rid of Stasis and Disenchant. Hopefully I'll get those back. I'm gonna tap the blue for the island for blue and the Soul Ring for colorless, for 2 colors. I'm gonna cast Time Twister. I'm gonna Time Twister now. I hope to get 2 Black Vices. I have a Tundra, a Swamp that I could take 6 damage from, and a Basalt Monolith that I can tap for 3 colorless. I also have the Chaos Orb online that I could use if I needed to sink mana into something. This hand gets shuffled, no counters, graveyard, library, all together. So this player also draws 7 new cards. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What did Merfolk get? Not bad, not bad. Let's draw 7 over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Black Vise, Black Vise. No Black Vise, mana short, power sink, and a bunch of lands. Not the best. All right, so that's all I can do. I'm gonna go ahead and pass it over to the Merfolk player. untap. However, there's one Black Vice online, so they have 7 cards. So Merfolk is going to take some damage here down to 17. Draw a card. Play a land. I'm going to play an island. And I'm going to try to get a bunch of stuff out of my hands here. Could power sync, but I don't have any. Well, I could power sync, yeah, I could power sync for a little bit. All right, so let's tap 2. Let's put a Psychic Venom on the swamp. Now it does 8 damage. That'll do 8 damage. Do I have a twiddle? No twiddle. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana left. Let's move to combat. Let's swing for 2 with the Merfolks. Go to 6. Let's also try to cast his Prodigal Sorcerer. Let's tap 3 for a Timmy. And I'm thinking I will power sync the Timmy. I'll tap Tundra for blue and Basalt Monolith for 3 colorless. So I'll power sync for 3, tapping out my opponent, countering the Timmy. I could have power sunk in return, I think. Perhaps. Tapping, yeah, I could have maybe power sunk for 1. That could have been lethal. But let's see what happens. I'll pass the turn over here. I'll untap everything but the Basalt Monolith. Yeah, I think the Merfolk would have won anyway, but I'll draw a card. It's a Black Vice. I'll play Underground Sea. I'll tap that for Black Vice. Now I have 2 Black Vices in play. I do have a mana short. Maybe that'll work too. Okay. All right, I'm going to pass the turn. I'm going to let them untap, and then I'm going to tap an island and a Soul Ring. I'm going to mana short my opponent after they untap, and then they go to upkeep. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. I think I could have Spell Blast too. Let me go ahead and Spell Blast. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to Spell Blast the mana short, pay the 4 for the Spell Blast, lets me untap the 3, puts me under the Vices so I don't take any damage. I draw a card, I'll play a land, I play an island, I'll tap 2 islands, I'll put another Psychic Venom on the swamp, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, potentially 10 damage on that swamp. I'll move to combat, I'll swing for 2, put the Alpha 40 player at 4. I'll pass the turn, untap the Soul Ring, untap my land. I drew another Black Vice, that's great. Let's play Swamp, tap it for black, play a 3rd Black Vice. I'll tap colorless, why not? I'm just gonna activate Chaos Orb on one of the Merfolk of the Pearl Tridents because I can. Oh, and I missed. That was a bad shot. I think it's going to be game over. I'll pass the turn. Untap. I drew a Spell Blast. I'll attack for 2. I'll pass the turn. Untap, draw. Paralyzed. That might actually work. I'll play a swamp. I'll tap it. Paralyze one of the Merfolks. Still have 3 Black Vices. I've already played the Time Twister. Bunch of counter spells. I'll move to untap. Play another island. I just really need a twiddle to end this game. I'll move to combat. Puts the Alpha 40 at 1. I'll untap. Draw. Play an island. I could Dark Ritual, but I really need, yeah, I think that's going to be game over. I will also pay 4 to untap the Paralyze. Draw a card. It's a Merfolk. I will pay a blue and swing for 1. That's going to get through. I think the Chaos Orb would have given me an extra turn, But basically that's a quick demonstration of how a tier 1 Black Vise Alpha 40 deck could run into trouble against a mono blue budget Merfolk of the Pearl Trident deck. Let me know in the comments if you play Alpha 40, if you play either of these decks, which one's your favorite. I'll put the link to the rules for the format in the description as well if you want to see how to build Alpha 40 decks, and check out my other content for deck techs and Alpha 40 content. Appreciate all the comments, subscriptions, and likes. I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks, everyone.